We are in the second quarterfinal of today. That is No Love for Ludroths versus Pleasure Castle. You guys are seeing Pleasure Castle on the right side and No Love for Ludroths on the left.
You guys?
Indeed, so we've got both teams starting to push up their points. Actually, I'm not sure why, but No Love for Ludroths, they haven't spawned their back 2 points. They've gone super aggressive in to try and bring down the enemy's forward point. They're going to lose their Sven. They're going to lose a lot of members here. They still have their Roland up high. He's doing some solid damage. Trip now taking a ton of damage. And they're going to lose pretty much everybody here. That was an aggressive gambit, and it may not have paid off as they lost almost all of their members.
Yeah, and Roland is the only one left alive for their team, and it looks like he's going to be forced out of the fight. They might even be able to clean him up. They're saying chase. They're yelling it to their teammates. Taito's chasing it, and he is going to get the kill. That is a 5-for-1 engagement this early in the game. Super aggressive play, but it doesn't look like it paid off. Pleasure Castle off to a great start.
Yeah, No Love decided that they were going to make a gambit play, rush 5 people on the enemy point and try and take it. We've seen that sometimes before, but they didn't have anybody, they didn't leave like one person back to spawn on their back 2 points, so they lost a little bit of passive power generation, and then they weren't grouped up properly, so they gave up a bunch of unnecessary kills.
It's also really hard because the amount of time it takes to get to the D point if you're, C point if you're the red team, it just takes a really long amount of time, and by that time you're definitely going to see 3 members of the enemy team there, and the other 2 are going to be pretty close behind because it only takes a couple seconds to summon one of the creatures in the back points. So that's something that could have been considered, but as you said, positioning was super important in that fight, and I also don't think they really focused too much on the focus targets. You got to call out one target, make sure you tell your teammates who's low so that someone can pick him up. Maybe your assassin swoops in and gets him at the last second, anything like that. But we also see that they are running a dual assassin comp, so both Trip and Taito on the side of No Love for Ludroths.
And on the side of Pleasure Castle, they've, wait, no, this is No Love. That's Pleasure Castle.
Yes.
Okay.
I was talking about the team you're with.
Yes. Doesn't matter. Anyways, that's going to be a nice kill pickup. Going over to the side of Pleasure Castle, they're going to grab that one very quickly. They've had a lot of really good focus firing there. And now Uncle Sven for the side of No Love. He wants to lob some damage over the side, but this is going to be a really quick first push coming in for Pleasure Castle, especially if they can get one more kill.
Yep, and one more kill is exactly what they're going to be looking for right here. And so far, they're pretty passive, right? We see Charnock, he's going to be going back to his own points to defend them. There's a really big push in here. There goes the hot hail. Taito is in the back, however, he's going to try to take down HK. HK getting taken down pretty low, but Taito is forced to back out after a little bit of CC. And the entire time, Charnock is trying to rain death upon them. And here we go. Oh, it looks like we do see a couple of kills onto the board. A 2-for-1 engagement so far. And now Gnosis is the focus target, but Taito is taken down super low. Gnosis is going to be able to get him. Sven is in the back line, and he's going to get taken down by HK, and HK is going to go for the Gnosis. He gets him as well. Another huge team fight for Pleasure Castle. That puts the scoreboard at 11-3.
That's a huge team wipe, especially because the power generation right now is so low. That's going to be really rough for the side of No Love, as the push has already started and there's nobody there to stop it. Basically, if you get in the Guardian's way, it slows down its progression, and if nobody's there, it's just going to rampage straight on through. So No Love is going to be in a little bit of trouble as the Griffin continues to press forward onto their points.
Yep, and we see so far that their Guardian is going to be attacking. The shield, however, is pretty strong on the side of No Love for Ludroths, so they could potentially build it up. They're going to have to do more than wait around for something to happen, but oh no, Taito is actually going to go for it. Taito is pretty much completely alone here. One person is attacking him from a really long distance, and he alone is going to be able to get the wound right before he dies. Great play right there. Trip picks him up in the end, but one kill for a wound, always worth it.
Yep, that's going to be the first wound going over to the side of Pleasure Castle. They've done a really good job of picking that up really early into the game. That was the first push. They got an entire wound, and they got that first push very quickly. We're going to see whether or not No Love can start turning things around. They have plenty of potential to be able to group up. They've got a Gnosis, which is just such a really good forward tank. They have a lot of really good range. HK and Roland, that's good mid-range damage. They've also got Sven for the dots. So they have plenty of potential to turn things around. They just have to group up properly and take their team fights.
Yep, and we are having a little bit of camera issues, so you guys on stream can't see us, but the gameplay is the most important thing here, and we're just trying to make sure you guys have the best time possible. So it looks like Charnock actually went for the triple shot upgrade, or the triple charge upgrade, so he's going to be able to do a lot of burst damage as well as some really good peeking plays. It's not going to be as much damage over time, but I think he can deal with that. Meanwhile, Roland is getting taken down really low, and it looks like he's just barely going to escape. One more attack's going to kill him, and there it goes. HK able to pick that up.
Yeah, but there's also going to be the revenge kill onto the Roland, and now a lot of targets starting to fall very, very quickly. Nasus is going to step himself forward, going to be able to get some backup from the Uncle Sven. They will bring down one of those large creatures, so that's a good turnaround by the side of No Love, and maybe, just maybe, they can turn this push around. But it sounds like Pleasure Castle is looking to make an aggressive play, pick up some of these low health targets. Sven is there as well. Trip's actually in a little bit of trouble. She's getting hit with a lot of damage. Sven should be able to help zone them back out, so that's going to be a good defense in by the side of No Love to get away from Pleasure Castle.
And Pleasure Castle, let's see what they end up building next on their Charnock. So when you go with the triple shot, you have a really strong opportunity to go for the, there's an upgrade on his detonate that allows him to get fully charged projectiles fired on his left mouse button whenever he's in the air from that ability. That can put down a ton of burst damage if he builds it right.
Roland's in a lot of trouble. That's going to be the burn. They should be able to follow up on top of him, but here comes the rest of the team from No Love to zone them out, taking a lot of burn damage. That Charnock doing a good job with those dots. And Uncle Sven has had a really hard time getting off as much disruption as he can, and his healing has been a little bit off, but hopefully he can make something happen going into their next team fight.
Yep, and it looks like both teams are now relaxing a little bit, but No Love for Ludroths, they really want to find something. They really want to make something happen. They're close to the push. They don't want to sit still. They want to make sure they lock in the push. They don't want to play too passively, because there is always a point where they could get initiated on, they could get picked and give the push away, so they want to get a kill. However, they might be too aggressive without enough infrastructure for it, and it looks like they're going to have to back off.
Nasus is going to go down. That's going to be a good kill going over the side of No Love. But here comes the remaining members from Pleasure Castle going in. That Tidal the Swift doing a lot of damage to this HK. Maybe he can pick him up. He does get one. Can he get the spin? Jumps on top of him with the swoop. He's burning, but getting a lot of heals from that AoE large creature that they've got. And they're going to bring down almost every member of the side of No Love. Uncle Sven is the only one alive. They're looking for the burn. They will pick him up. And that is going to be the turnaround for Pleasure Castle. They get the push just with the little smallest amount of health. Tidal Swift chasing down onto this trip. Maybe he can get in range for the bleed. One more tick and she'll go down. He's stepping forward, and his teammate actually comes in and picks up one of the kills. They throw out the bleed. Tidal's going to be forced to back up, but that's an amazing turnaround for Pleasure Castle.
Yeah, that was just so close to getting the push. One more second, staying alive, and that would have been it. But it looks like Pleasure Castle is going to try to push in here. They're finding a lot of opposition, and Nasus is going to go barreling right out of the caves, and he's almost going to be able to kill Roland.
But they are going to lose away. Both Nasus for both teams do go down. Uncle Sven looking for a target, doing some damage to HK. HK for the side of No Love was dueling with the HK from the side of Pleasure Castle. They do generate a lot of power here, so it's unlikely that Pleasure Castle is able to get the instant wound off of this, but who knows, they may be able to rotate the necessary targets in. They've got Tidal the Swift sneaking around the backside. Trip actually from the side of No Love doing some damage and stealing some power away from the Guardian. That's actually very, very risky, but in goes Tidal the Swift. Maybe he can get in there. Roland's there to possibly back him up. He's going to sneak in on the high perch, and the Guardian is actually vulnerable, and Tidal isn't going for it. He's waiting for something, either his team, or maybe they just don't feel confident going in for that. Maybe they're just going to rotate onto one of the enemy monsters, let the wound do what it's going to do, and it might have been over-aggressive for them. Taito is going to be able to swoop himself out of there, gets himself out of trouble. HK and the remaining members of Team No Love did get the defense, so that's going to give them a bit of experience, but for now, they're still in a lot of trouble as this tough Cerberus is going to take a lot of damage. Maybe they can show up in time for it to use its ultimate. It is going to use its ultimate. That's going to be a huge daze for the side of No Love, but it doesn't matter. Taito picks up one. Can he get a second? He's eating some dot damage. Uncle Sven looking to get some lobs in, but nobody from the side of No Love is going to be able to pick up another kill, and Taito is going to walk away with one for free.
Yeah, a one free kill for them as well. They didn't go for the wound, but it might have been a pretty decent choice at this point because of the amount of sheer power they have. And here comes Roland. He's going to try to take a kill. There goes the double for him. And now his bolas are up, so he might be able to catch someone in them if he decides to go for it. There he goes. Broken armor. He gets the damage. And then Charnock in to clean it up with his focus. 2 auto attacks. Gets him the double kill. A 5 for one wipe.
Another full team wipe coming in for the side of Team Pleasure Castle. They take out everybody again. These so close team fights. Now they turn the power gauge around. They're going to be able to possibly push for this next wound if they're able to close the gap very, very quickly. They need a little bit more power. They've got 3 large monsters. Actually, one of them is on the enemy's D point. Taito does have a focus charge. Maybe he's going to go and upgrade the C. Nah, he wants to keep on fighting. So for the moment, they're not going to be able to upgrade anything, but they're going to keep their forward aggression, look for this next push, and maybe, just maybe, Pleasure Castle is going to be able to take 2 wounds before the clash.
And putting a Cerberus on one of your forward points really means you want to stay aggressive because it gives you the vision of their entire enemy team. You can know if you're going too deep and people are rotating around on you, but it's not the tankiest. Right, if you wanted that point to stay up for a really long time and give you the time to rotate to it, you would put up either a tough Cerberus instead of a Cerberus Majoris, or you would go for a Cyclops. Both are really tough, but it looks like they're going to push in for it.
Oh, Uncle Sven laying in some damage from the backside, but now he's going to get jumped on by the Taito. Taito goes in, gets the bleed. That's going to be the first kill going over to Taito. Now they're looking to pick up the trip. She's bleeding out, but Taito's actually going in for the wound. He knows that there's about half health. The team is going to pick up the kill. That's going to be an amazing push coming in from Pleasure Castle. They've sent Taito the Swift up to try and bring down the enemy Guardian. This is easily going to be a wound. It's at about half shield generation for the Naga side, and it takes it down almost all the way. No, insta wound with the bleed coming in from Taito, and that's going to be an amazing play set up by Pleasure Castle. We haven't even reached the clash, and oh, Taito, can he get somebody else? He's got the bleed, he's got the grind. That could be tripped. He's looking for the damage. He needs to follow the blinking numbers. He's gonna have to get out of there. The clash is starting, and all the members of Team Pleasure of Team No Love are respawning. No Love under so much pressure here.
They are, and we might even see another 3-for-0 and completely shut out. Not even a single push for the side of No Love for Ludroths. So we'll have to see. Oh, Charnock just barely missing the summon. So there's a small window of time where you can summon before clash, and he did not exactly catch that. So that summon point has actually locked. But it still doesn't mean anything too bad for their team. There's still 3 summons up to No Love for Ludroths 1. So again, Pleasure Castle, they don't really need to force anything too aggressive. They can just sit on their passive power generation and win it by that. However, Roland is going to go for the bolas onto Trip. Trip is going to be able to get away, but it looks like they are trying to poke out as much as possible, see if they can get the HK kill.
Oh, Gnosis goes in. Gnosis v Gnosis. We'll see which one is able to survive. They do pick up the kill on the side of No Love, but they're taking a ton of damage in from this Naga. Kill pickup going over to Taito the Swift. He's stealing a little bit of power. He's actually taking a lot of dot damage, so he's going to have to back up, but he's got the rest of his team here. They've actually managed to wipe the entire team of Team No Love, and now they're pushing in on the power. This could easily be a shutout.
It very well could be. So stealing powers in this game is something that's really, really cool.
Oh, Trip is going to go down. This Taito is on a killing spree, doing a great job of rotating back to bring down the enemy players.
Yeah, and Trip was going for the power steal there, which could be a really important tool. The only thing is that if you die, you want to make sure you stole more power than when you died, or your death doesn't mean the enemy gets the push. In this case, he wasn't able to get away, so that death wasn't quite worth it. If he got away after stealing a bunch of power, it would have been 100% worth it, but that's another reason why we say assassin players, the best ones can get away from anything. Like Quick, I know, really good at playing around with Taito, jumping from building to building, making sure that he just stays alive the entire time.
Yeah, so the members of Pleasure Castle are going to look to group up and just keep the pressure on, and they're calling out Trip. They do know that she's there. You can see the little bit of red in the crosshairs. That means you see a stealth target. She's right in front of you. There's the Trip going for the power. Oh my god, hit by the Griffin. It does so much damage. She's going to go down, and that's going to be the push coming in for the side of Pleasure Castle.
Yeah, I never noticed it until now, but it actually gives you a power play if you get the kill that gives you the push, because you get a full power bar. But in the meantime, Roland is taken down pretty low after getting one of the kills. Meanwhile, Charnock is trying to fight down Gnosis. One more charged auto attack is going to be able to do it, but they don't want it. They want to go for the wound instead.
Gnosis is going to go down. They do need to start grouping people up. That's a really, really low health HK, but there's nobody there to stop him. He's doing some good damage, but that's a good amount of power. In comes the Charnock ultimate. Huge AoE burn. They've got Taito, they've got Gnosis, and Pleasure Castle is going to pick up the win.
Another shutout. 0 pushes for No Love for Ludroths. Huge game right there, and honestly, I'm super excited to see Cuban Raft Riders face them in the semifinals. That is going to be a great match. Both of these teams have been playing really, really well. So actually, let's take a look at the scoreboard after the match as well. So we can see that actually 11-0-10 for the HK for Pleasure Castle. That is huge and really tells you how good his positioning was. That's something that can be super important when you're playing HK, especially if you want to fortify. Fortifying puts yourself in a position where you don't have any mobility, you can't dash away from anything, and you're basically a sitting target. So it's all 100% relying on your positioning there, and he was able to do it. In the meantime, we also see that Charnock 9-0-6 did not die once either, so all around the board, great positioning there. Nasus has 6 deaths with his 5 kills. But he was super impactful. He always initiated the team fights, and that was really huge for their teams.